Good morning, everyone. This is NWS Columbia Meteorologist Steve LaVoie coming to you with an update on today's snowstorm. Right now, this is the radar at 5:30 this morning, so it's bright and early here at the forecast office in Columbia. And you can see we already have a lot of reports coming in. Every white snowflake you see on screen is one of our MPING reports of snow falling. And we did have some reports earlier from our forecast area as well. So a winter storm warning is in effect for our entire forecast area, and that's going to run through 10 a.m. Sunday morning. We're expecting the highest impacts to occur late this morning and into the afternoon and evening hours, and then tapering off tonight. In terms of snowfall, we are predicting 6 to 9 inches of snow across much of the central and northern Midlands. We could see some isolated higher amounts, particularly where we see any banding set up within this developing storm. Elsewhere, we're looking at more 3 to 6 inches. So the big takeaways today is the snow is expected to accumulate on the roads. We're likely going to see some hazardous travel. And when you combine that with the winds, which are expected to pick up today, we could see some blowing and drifting of this very light snow. It's going to be very atypical from what we would normally see on the rare occasion that we do get snow here in the Carolinas. And so we're going to have that blowing and drifting snow, and that's going to reduce visibility at times. So at this point in the game, we're into the storm itself. There will be a few more hours early this morning if you have to make some last-minute travel or preparations. But for most of us at this point, you're going to be within the storm. So you want to make sure you're checking on your neighbors and properly ventilate any emergency heat sources you may need. The good news is with light and fluffy snow, we're not expecting widespread power outages. But with the gusty winds, we can't rule them out completely. And if you do have to use your generator, make sure it's at least 20 feet away from your home. And when you do shovel, take it easy, even if it's light and fluffy. When it starts to accumulate, of course, we could still run into some issues with that. So take it easy when you do start shoveling. And it looks like the worst conditions throughout the forecast area will be generally from roughly around noon today, midday hours, depending on where you are, all the way through the afternoon and into the early evening. And then, like I said, depending on where you are in the forecast area, things will start to taper off as we head into the evening and early overnight. And by about daybreak Sunday, it should be wrapping up, even though there will be lingering impacts from the snow falling. And as I mentioned, most roads will be impacted by this snowstorm, so travel is strongly discouraged once the snow begins. So if you have any plans today, we recommend to delay or cancel travel if possible, because once that snow starts going and accumulating and the winds pick up and the visibility decreases, dangerous conditions are possible. We did receive some questions about why we didn't issue a blizzard warning with this, because we have the snow, we have the wind. So there is a very specific set of criteria we follow to declare a blizzard. We actually don't need falling snow, we need blowing snow. It needs to be from 35 mile per hour winds or greater, reducing visibility to at or under a quarter mile for 3 or more hours. So we at the Weather Service office in Columbia just don't have the confidence that we're going to see all these criteria met for 3 or more hours. So that is the reason why we don't have a blizzard warning in effect, and it's just a winter storm warning. In terms of a historical perspective, what you see on screen are the top 15 one-day totals for our forecast area. And for those who have lived here in the Midlands for a long time, it should come as no surprise that the top storm was February 10th, 1973, where on that particular day, we had a foot of snow observed in the Columbia area. Moving over to the Augusta area, that same storm in 1973 did produce a lot of snow in the Augusta area. And actually, February 9th is tied for the second heaviest one-day snowfall total in Augusta. And February 10th is the 5th highest. So from that entire storm, they received 14 inches of snow in the Augusta area. It was actually higher up in Columbia. And finally, I did want to take a look at Charlotte. That storm actually didn't make the top 15. And the heaviest snowfall actually occurred way back in 1902, the heaviest one-day snow total in the Charlotte area. And the more modern example for you would have been a foot of snow observed on January 7th, 1988. So if we go back to Columbia, it looks like to crack the top 15, we need to see at least 4.3 inches of snow today. I definitely think we'll have a chance in Columbia to get into the top 15 today. For 3.3 inches at Augusta, we definitely have a shot at that. And then 7.8 is actually might be a challenge in Charlotte. We'll see how things go. Now, as I mentioned, there's actually a cold component with this. It's going to be a very light and fluffy snow because temperatures are going to be quite cold for us. It's been a long time since our forecast area has seen temperatures of this low magnitude. And as a result, we do have an extreme cold warning also going to affect later today. And this is a look at the minimum wind chill forecast. And you can see the box in red is the time of the extreme cold warning. And you can see that we're expecting minimum wind chills between +5 and maybe as low as -5 degrees in spots. So absolutely tonight, you don't want to be outside if you can. You don't want to travel. You don't want to be outside. It's just going to be a miserable time tonight with blowing snow and drifting snow and these bitterly cold temperatures. And I also wanted to mention that tomorrow night, while the wind chills won't be down to those values, we may still need a cold weather advisory for tomorrow night. So even though the storm will be over, with the snowpack on the ground, temperatures will be quite cold, and there will be some lingering wind as well. So keep that in mind. Tonight and tomorrow night will both be quite cold. And with that in mind, we of course want to remind everyone, don't forget about your furry friends. So make sure you do take care of them properly. The best course of action, of course, in these extreme conditions is to just bring them inside and make sure they're properly taken care of. And a couple slides to wrap things up. This is a quick summary of the greatest impacts. So we broke this down into the northern and central Midlands, and then the CSRA and the southern Midlands. And the biggest difference here is that the snow is expected to be a little bit heavier for the northern and central Midlands, but the timing is the same. This afternoon and evening is when you're most likely going to see the heaviest snow. And then we turn over to snow starting to ramp down tonight, but then we have that extreme cold expected for the overnight hours. And finally, I did want to bring this up. So we cover the Midlands of South Carolina. So if you live in any of the South Carolina counties in pink, that is covered by NWS Columbia. We also have 5 counties in the state of Georgia. If you're listening to this and you live in the upstate of South Carolina, a few counties in northern Georgia, and also western North Carolina not shown, that would be the office in Greer or Greenville-Spartanburg. If you live in the Low Country, the counties in light blue here, that would include Charleston, South Carolina. That is your office. Also, if you're in Savannah and part of the upper Georgia coast, that is also taken care of by the Charleston office. And then finally, these counties in light green, that would be the Grand Strand and much of the PD. Your office is actually located in Wilmington, North Carolina. And with that, I'll wrap everything up here. And we will... Of course, we want you guys to stay safe during this storm and always remain weather aware, and stay tuned for more updates from NWS Columbia.